Aaron Rodgers does not need another comeback story. He already has the ring, the MVPs, the records, and the name that will live in football forever. But Pittsburgh wants one more year. The hard truth is that one more year may be the thing that hurts him most. The argument nobody in Pittsburgh wants to hear starts with the one thing fans hate most: the body clock. Aaron Rodgers is not being judged like a normal quarterback. He is being judged like one of the greatest to ever play the position. That is fair, because his career earned that level of respect. 4 MVP awards, a Super Bowl title, more than 500 touchdown passes, years of throws that looked impossible until he made them look normal. But 2026 is not about what Rodgers was. It is about what he can still be at 42, turning 43 in December. That is where the story gets uncomfortable. The Steelers re-signed him for one more season. Rodgers has said this will be his final year. Pittsburgh sees one last ride. The fans see a Hall of Fame quarterback reunited with Mike McCarthy, the coach he won a Super Bowl with in Green Bay. It sounds like a movie ending, but football is not kind to movie endings. It is violent, fast, and honest. When a quarterback gets old, the fall does not always come slowly. Sometimes it shows up in one hit, one playoff loss, one throw that used to be easy. That is the case for Rodgers retiring now, before the ending gets worse and before the damage grows. The strongest argument for Rodgers staying is also the reason this debate is so heated. He was not terrible in 2025. He played 16 games for Pittsburgh and threw for 3,322 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. That is clean football. The Steelers also won the AFC North. This was not a lost team with a broken plan. Rodgers gave Pittsburgh a level of calm at quarterback that the franchise had been chasing for years. He protected the ball. He made enough plays. He helped turn a hard division race into a home playoff game. But numbers can hide the warning signs. A season line does not show how much harder the game looked late. It does not show the hits that stayed with him. It does not show the wrist problem he played through near the end of the year. It does not show how different a quarterback can look when January football speeds up. That is why the 2025 regular season is tricky. It gives fans enough evidence to believe. It gives doubters enough evidence to worry. Rodgers was still good enough to win games. The question is whether he is still good enough to win the games that define Pittsburgh. That answer looked ugly in the wild card round. The Houston playoff loss is the clip nobody in Pittsburgh wants to keep watching. The Steelers lost 30-6 at home. The offense did not look like a group ready for one last Super Bowl push. It looked stuck. It looked slow. It looked like a team that had run out of answers in the one game where answers matter most. Rodgers took pressure. The timing was off. Pittsburgh failed to score a touchdown. Houston controlled the mood, then buried the game. A playoff loss can happen to any quarterback, but this one hurt because it fed the exact fear fans were trying to ignore. Was Rodgers still a top quarterback? Or was he now a smart veteran who needed too many things perfect around him? That is the uncomfortable difference. Younger quarterbacks can survive chaos with legs, arm speed, and raw burst. Older quarterbacks must win before the chaos arrives. They need protection. They need rhythm. They need clean pockets. When those things disappear, age gets loud fast. The Houston game did not prove Rodgers was finished forever, but it did prove Pittsburgh cannot simply say, "He is Aaron Rodgers," and expect January to obey. The biggest opponent in 2026 is not Baltimore. It is not Cincinnati. It is not Kansas City, Buffalo, or Houston. It is age. Quarterback history is brutal after 42. Tom Brady is the only modern example who made people believe the wall could be moved. He won a Super Bowl at 43. At 44, he was still brilliant, but even Brady's final season at 45 showed the strain. He threw for a lot of yards, but Tampa Bay finished 8-9, and the playoff exit against Dallas looked like an ending more than a threat. Rodgers is not Brady. Nobody is. He has his own gifts, but his path has been rough. The Achilles injury with the Jets in 2023 changed the back half of his career. The 2024 Jets season did not bring the clean return people hoped for. Then 2025 in Pittsburgh gave him a division title but ended with a playoff crash. By 2026, the body is not a side note. It is the story. The arm may still flash. The mind may still be sharp. But the NFL does not ask whether a quarterback can make a great throw in practice. It asks whether he can take hits for 5 months and still make the right throw in January. That is the test Rodgers is choosing to take again. Pittsburgh fans do not want to hear the retirement case because hope feels better. The McCarthy reunion gives that hope a shape. Rodgers and McCarthy know each other. They won together in Green Bay. They speak the same football language. But old chemistry does not erase new problems. McCarthy cannot make Rodgers younger. He cannot heal every hit faster. He cannot turn a weak protection day into a clean pocket with memory alone. He can design a better plan. He can lean on quick throws, play action, and the run game. He can protect Rodgers with smarter calls. But that still means the whole offense must be built around keeping the quarterback out of trouble. That can become a ceiling. The Steelers need to ask a hard question. Are they building a Super Bowl team around Rodgers, or are they building a protection plan for Rodgers? Those are not the same thing. If every week becomes about keeping him safe, managing his body, and hoping the line holds, the final year can turn into a long act of defense. That is not how teams win titles. There is also the cost to the future. The Steelers drafted Drew Aller in the 3rd round. He is not being asked to save the franchise right now, but his presence matters. Every Rodgers snap delays the next plan. That is fine if Rodgers gives Pittsburgh a real Super Bowl path. It is harder to defend if the team is simply chasing a last chapter because the name is too big to move on from. Franchises can get trapped by legends. They tell themselves one more year is worth it because the player was once great. Then one more year becomes a season where the young players wait, the offense bends around age, and the ending still comes in January. That is the risk. Rodgers is not just a player, he is a force inside the building. His choices shape the roster, the offense, the media, and the daily mood. If he is great, that is worth it. If he is only pretty good, the cost becomes harder to ignore. Now, to be fair, the case against retiring is real. Rodgers still threw 24 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions last season. That does not happen by accident. His ball security is still rare. His knowledge still helps a team. In a weak quarterback market, moving on from him is not simple. The Steelers are not rebuilding. They are division champions with a defense built for grit. They have a coach, Mike McCarthy, who knows Rodgers better than almost anyone. If the offensive line holds and the run game produces, Pittsburgh remains a competitive team. This is the heart of the debate. If the goal is respect, Rodgers has earned it. If the goal is a decent final season, he can likely achieve it. But in a deep AFC, the standard for a Super Bowl is much higher. The playoffs are too punishing for half-speed endings, and the league does not stop for sentiment. While Rodgers has earned the right to choose his exit, Pittsburgh must live with the consequences of his final year. Leaving now would not erase the playoff loss to Houston, but it would prevent that loss from becoming a warning everyone ignores. A retirement now would protect his legacy from becoming a weekly check on his age. Fans want the old magic and a return to the AFC title hunt, but in the NFL, clocks do not turn back, they only run louder. Sometimes the bravest final throw is the one a great quarterback chooses not to make.